Section 1 from the book of Genesis. For everyone visited Sarah as he had said, and for everyone did to Sarah as he had spoken. Sarah conceived and bore Abraham a son in his old age at the set time of which God had spoken to him. Abraham called his son, who was born to him, whom Sarah bore to him, Isaac. Abraham circumcised his son Isaac when he was 8 days old, as God had commanded him. Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born to him. Sarah said, "God has made me laugh. Everyone who hears will laugh with me." She said, "Who would have said to Abraham that Sarah would nurse children? For I have borne him a son in his old age." The child grew and was weaned. Abraham made a great feast on the day that Isaac was weaned. Sarah saw the son of Hagar the Egyptian, whom she had borne to Abraham, mocking. Therefore she said to Abraham, "Cast out this handmaid and her son, for the son of this handmaid will not be heir with my son Isaac." The thing was very grievous in Abraham's sight on account of his son. God said to Abraham, "Don't let it be grievous in your sight because of the boy and the handmaid. In all that Sarah says to you, listen to her voice, for your offspring will be traced through Isaac. I will also make a nation of the son of the handmaid, because he is your offspring." Abraham rose up early in the morning and took bread and a container of water and gave it to Hagar, putting it on her shoulder, and gave her the child and sent her away. She departed and wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba. The water in the container was spent, and she put the child under one of the shrubs. She went and sat down opposite him a good way off, about a bowshot away, for she said, "Don't let me see the death of the child." She sat opposite him and lifted up her voice and wept. Section 2 from the book of Judges. Deborah said to Barak, "Go, for this is the day in which for everyone has delivered Sisera into your hand. Hasn't for everyone gone out before you?" So Barak went down from Mount Tabor, and 10,000 men after him. For everyone confused Sisera and all his chariots and all his army with the edge of the sword before Barak. And Sisera alighted from his chariot and fled away on his feet. But Barak pursued the chariots, and after the army to Harosheth of the Gentiles, and all the army of Sisera fell by the edge of the sword. There was not a man left. However, Sisera fled away on his feet to the tent of Jael, the wife of Heber the Kenite, for there was peace between Jabin the king of Hazor and the house of Heber the Kenite. Jael went out to meet Sisera and said to him, "Turn in, my lord, turn in to me, don't be afraid." He came in to her into the tent, and she covered him with a rug. He said to her, "Please give me a little water to drink, for I am thirsty." She opened a bottle of milk and gave him drink and covered him. He said to her, "Stand in the door of the tent, and it shall be, when any man comes and inquires of you, and says, 'Is there any man here?' that you shall say, 'No.'" Then Jael, Heber's wife, took a tent peg, and took a hammer in her hand, and went softly to him, and struck the pin into his temples, and it pierced through into the ground, for he was in deep sleep. So he swooned and died. Behold, as Barak pursued Sisera, Jael came to meet him, and said to him, "Come, and I will show you the man you seek." He came to her, and behold, Sisera lay dead, and the tent peg was in his temples. So God subdued on that day Jabin the king of Canaan before the children of Israel. The hand of the children of Israel prevailed more and more against Jabin the king of Canaan, until they had destroyed Jabin king of Canaan. Then Deborah and Barak the son of Abinoam sang on that day, saying, "Because the leaders took the lead in Israel, because the people themselves willingly be blessed forever one, because the people offered themselves willingly be blessed forever one. Hear you kings, give ear ye princes, I, even I, will sing to forever one. I will sing praise to forever one, the God of Israel. Forever one, when you went out of Seir, when you marched out of the field of Edom, the earth trembled, the sky also dropped. Yes, the clouds dropped water, the mountains quaked at the presence of Forever One, even Sinai at the presence of Forever One, the God of Israel. In the days of Shamgar the son of Anath, in the days of Jael, the highways were unoccupied. The travellers walked through byways. The rulers ceased in Israel. They ceased until I, Deborah, arose, until I arose, a mother in Israel. They chose new gods, then war was in the gates. Was there a shield or spear seen among 40,000 in Israel? My heart is toward the governors of Israel, who offer themselves willingly among the peoples. Bless forever one. Tell of it, you who ride on white donkeys, you who sit on rich carpets, and you who walk along the road, far from the noise of archers, in the places of drawing water. There they will rehearse the righteous acts of forever one, even the righteous acts of his rule in Israel. Then the people of Forever One went down to the gates. Awake, awake, Deborah, awake, awake, utter a song, arise, Barak, and lead away your captives, you son of Abinoam. Then a remnant of the nobles and the people came down, for everyone came down for me against the mighty. Those whose root is in Amalek came out of Ephraim. After you, Benjamin, among your peoples. Governors come down out of Machir. Those who handle the marshal's staff came out of Zebulun. The princes of Issachar were with Deborah. As was Issachar, so was Barak. They rushed into the valley at his feet. By the watercourses of Reuven, there were great resolves of heart. Why did you sit among the sheepfolds to hear the whistling for the flocks? At the watercourses of Reuven, there were great searchings of heart. Gilead lived beyond the Jordan. Why did Dan remain in ships? Asher sat still at the haven of the sea and lived by its creeks. Section 3, from the first book of Chronicles. David spoke to the chief of the Levites to appoint their brothers, the singers, with instruments of music, stringed instruments, and harps and cymbals, sounding aloud and lifting up the voice with joy. So the Levites appointed Heman, the son of Joel, and of his brothers, Asaph, the son of Berechiah, and of the sons of Merari, their brothers, Ethan, the son of Cushiah, and with them their brothers of the second degree, Zechariah, Ben, and Jaaziel, and Shemiramoth, and Jehiel, and Uni, Eliav, and Benaiah, and Maaseiah, and Mattithiah, and Eliphelehu, and Mikneiah, and Obed-Edom, and Jeiel, the doorkeepers. So the singers Heman, Asaph, and Ethan were appointed with cymbals of brass to sound aloud, and Zechariah, and Aziel, and Shemiramoth, and Jehiel, and Uni, and Eliav, and Maaseiah, and Benaiah, with stringed instruments set to Alamoth, and Mattithiah, and Eliphelehu, and Mikneiah, and Obed-Edom, and Jeiel, and Azaziah, with harps, tuned to the 8-stringed lyre, to lead. Hananiah, the chief of the Levites, was over the song. He instructed about the song, because he was skillful. Berechiah and Elkanah were doorkeepers for the ark. Shebaniah and Joshaphat and Nethanel and Amasai and Zechariah and Benaiah and Eleazar the priests did blow the trumpets before the ark of God, and Obed-Edom and Jehiah were doorkeepers for the ark. So David and the elders of Israel and the captains over thousands went to bring up the ark of the covenant of forever one out of the house of Obed-Edom with joy. When God helped the Levites who bore the ark of the covenant of forever one, they sacrificed 7 bulls and 7 rams. David was clothed with a robe of fine linen, and all the Levites who bore the ark, and the singers, and Kenaniah the master of the song with the singers, and David had on him an ephod of linen. Thus all Israel brought up the ark of the covenant of forever one, with shouting, and with sound of the cornet, and with trumpets, and with cymbals, sounding aloud, with stringed instruments and harps. As the ark of the covenant of forever one came to the city of David, Michal, the daughter of Saul, looked out at the window and saw David dancing and playing, and she despised him in her heart. They brought the ark of God and set it in the midst of the tent that David had pitched for it, and they offered burnt offerings and peace offerings before God. When David had made an end of offering the burnt offering and the peace offerings, he blessed the people in the name of forever one. He dealt to every one of Israel, both man and woman, to every one a loaf of bread and a portion of flesh and a cake of raisins. Section 4, from the book of Matthew. Jesus said to his disciples, "Most certainly I say to you, a rich man will enter into the kingdom of heaven with difficulty. Again I tell you, it is easier for a camel to go through a needle's eye than for a rich man to enter into God's kingdom." When the disciples heard it, they were exceedingly astonished, saying, "Who then can be saved?" Looking at them, Jesus said, "With men this is impossible, but with God all things are possible." Then Peter answered, "Behold, we have left everything and followed you. What then will we have?" Jesus said to them, "Most certainly I tell you that you who have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man will sit on the throne of his glory, you also will sit on 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. Everyone who has left houses or brothers or sisters or father or mother or wife or children or lands for my name's sake will receive 100 times and will inherit eternal life. But many will be last who are first, and first who are last. For the kingdom of heaven is like a man who was a householder, who went out early in the morning to hire labourers for his vineyard. When he had agreed with the labourers for a denarius a day, he sent them into his vineyard. He went out about the 3rd hour and saw others standing idle in the marketplace. He said to them, "You also go into the vineyard, and whatever is right I will give you." So they went their way. Again he went out about the 6th and the 9th hour, and did likewise. About the 11th hour he went out and found others standing idle. He said to them, "Why do you stand here all day idle?" They said to him, "Because no one has hired us." He said to them, "You also go into the vineyard, and you will receive whatever is right." When evening had come, the master of the vineyard said to his manager, "Call the labourers and pay them their wages, beginning from the last to the first." When those who were hired at about the 11th hour came, they each received a denarius. When the first came, they supposed that they would receive more, and they likewise each received a denarius. When they received it, they murmured against the householders, saying, 'These last have spent 1 hour, and you have made them equal to us who have borne the burden of the day and the scorching heat.' But he answered one of them, 'Friend, I am doing you no wrong. Didn't you agree with me for a denarius? Take that which is yours and go your way. It is my desire to give to this last just as much as to you. Isn't it lawful for me to do what I want to with what I own? Or is your eye evil because I am good?' So the last will be first, and the first last. For many are called, but few are chosen."